So if you would stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much and welcome. Do I hear any change to the agenda?
No.
I have none.
Do I hear a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, so moved. Public comment? No? Okay. We did receive public comment from resident Ken Van Buskirk, and we have made note of it. He had concerns.
Submit it
But
for the record.
Yes, and we submit that for the record. All of the commissioners have received that. Okay, consent agenda items. Since there's no other public comment, and nobody in the Zoom room. Okay, all right. Consent agenda items.
I'll make a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes of June 5th, 2023, and the special meeting minutes of June 19th, 2003.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, so moved. Action items A, B, C, D, and E. Would you like to do that, John?
Sure.
Okay.
All right. I will make a motion to, I'll make a motion that we approve the four financials here. The first one, voucher being $63,046.63. And the $19,521.93, and the $435.76, and the $1,613.08 voucher. And also that we approve the use of digital signatures.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, so moved. Commissioners' reports.
I'll go last if you don't mind.
Sure.
Mine was pretty short. Attended the regular meeting on June 5th and the special meeting on June 19th. But one positive thing I was explaining to the executive director is on June 14th, the Mason County Broadband Action Team submitted our initial report. That initial report is requesting the federal government for funds to expand our internet in Mason County. And so a lot of work went into that, a lot of late nights. And luckily on my team, I had a person who I'd like to introduce to the other commissioners and the executive director. Her and I worked really well together. There were some early morning phone calls and late night phone calls to get this document done. But on Friday, we had our little luncheon to celebrate what we did. And she had a willingness to help the Port of Allyn participate in the EV charging stations by helping us write grants and figure out what we can do. She's a very excellent technical writer. And so she's going to be with me for the next 5 months working on some digital equity here in Mason County. So if I could find the time, maybe she could join us for our next board meeting. But,
Great.
yeah.
Good. My turn?
Yeah.
Okay, of course I did the regular port meeting, June 5th. June 8th, the Mason County Economic Development Council meeting. And June 9th was the Washington Public Ports Nomination Committee, met at Alderbrook. And June 19th, of course, the special meeting for setting the new date for the port. I didn't make copies, but you know, the Mason County EDC, the legislative committee is really active and really great. I won't hit any highlights right now, but I'd like to give you guys just to take a look and overview of what they're doing.
I'd like that, yeah.
Yeah, so take a look at that, or we can get copies and give that to
Can make
them.
copies. Okay, thanks.
Because they are doing a lot, and it's been great.
That's cool.
So that completes my report.
Okay,
John?
very well. So the June 5th regular meeting and the June 19th special meeting for Port of Allyn, and then I did my regular Mason Transit board meeting on the 29th, and then I also attended a committee meeting that I'm on a committee for maintenance for MTA on the 20th. We did that, so that's my report.
Excellent. Thank you. Okay, security officers report. Travis.
Travis Merrill, Port Allen Security.
Hello.
The only thing I really had to report was I had another run-in with the gentleman that owns the white Tesla. Had a kind of an aggressive encounter with him, which is unfortunate. So I'm recommending we send him a letter. Tell him if it happens again, you're going to be trespassed. He came down really late at night. It was about 10 o'clock, and I was checking the doors up here. And he drove by, screaming by with his windows down, his music, 110 decibels. Pulled down into the park, pulled all the way down into the corner where we plan on putting the oyster house. And I went through my normal procedure and locked the upper gates. And then when I pulled down there and caught him getting onto the beach, I was like, hey, sir, did you see the signs? We're kind of closed after dark. Kind of turns around and shouts some things that I couldn't hear because he crossed in front of my car. But they were definitely obscenities for sure. Got into his car and then aggressively backed his car out and came to a skidding stop about 8 feet away from my car, and then proceeded to just drive very quickly out the gates. So that's enough for me, probably enough for the rest of you.
How many? I'm sorry. Have you? This is a regular problem with this individual.
It's a second encounter. I had an encounter with him at the kayak park about 3 months ago.
Okay. Did you call the deputy by any chance?
No. By the time the guy's gone, it doesn't matter, and we know where he lives. He lives here locally, so.
Okay. It's just that sometimes it'd be healthy to consider doing that in the future, because they'll at least do a blotter entry and then it shows.
Yeah, and in my experience, they are pretty busy at night.
They don't have to show up
for something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I understand that.
Okay.
But this is just a trespassing thing for us. Perhaps, and the individual was down here for the 4th of July and was totally kosher and even said hi to me. Like, there was no issues, so. Other than that, 4th of July went great. We did have a little bit of a fiasco with the amount of people trying to park in our fire lane, but we got that worked through, and nobody was doing things out of order down at the North Shore, which is always good. We've got a family that comes down there about every year and sets up tables, and they know they're not supposed to blow out fireworks. So. Other than that, just the usual non-payment issues at the dock that we will address in the office here this week with my entire booklet of tickets I wrote in the last 3 weeks.
We did get one paid.
One. Great. That's 1 out of 25.
Travis, are you seeing an increase on the hook and out boat ramp with Tawana, the park?
There's definitely, it feels like there is an increase of use there. Because I noticed that they did cover up the signs there on Highway 3, and apparently the boat ramp sign even got covered up.
Yeah, 106 is where the construction's going on, and so that's causing people to do a long detour around.
Sure.
And so, I'm just wondering if our ramp is going to be used more.
Probably. I mean, we saw pretty, healthy use during the 4th of July weekends, since 4th of July was in the middle, front and back. And it seems like we've been fairly busy, but we're down to just a few boats there moored right now.
Okay.
In fact, last night we had some people, 3 cars there that I didn't recognize, so I took pictures of them. And as I'm coming back around, there's all of a sudden a van there, like an oversized extended van, and a bunch of people. This is 10 o'clock at night. And I get over and I start talking to them, like, hey, are these your cars? Yeah. Like, well, what's going on? Oh, we came back by boat. And I was like, oh, so now you owe us parking fees. And he's all, well, what do you mean? I'm like, well, you leave your car here and you take off on a boat, that's the whole point of paying us, you're using the facility. And he literally just pulled out his wallet and handed me a bunch of cash. And I was like, all right, well, I guess that's a donation. He was totally cool with it. So I got some loose money to turn in.
Okay.
Anyway, that's what I got.
Great, thank
Great.
you, Travis.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Travis.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Before you
Excellent.
go any further, can you unmute the computer for the one person on Zoom?
Sure. Can you do that?
Unmuted.
Yeah, the computer is muted.
Oh.
You
Thank
can
you.
log in and on, trying to find it.
Oh, okay. I can't see who that is. Can you see?
It's Allyn.
It's Allyn Finley.
Oh, okay, great.
It's not muted, it's up all the way.
No, it's muted, look at the screen.
Is it him?
It's Alan.
No, I think he's muted himself.
No, that computer needs to be unmuted.
Okay.
Well,
I
you
don't
try.
see where to do that.
Let me look.
Taskbar on the bottom where the volume control is. Lower right hand corner.
Trying to unmute.
I
the
missed those
computer,
days, but this wasn't even an option.
Is that it?
Whether it be here or someplace else.
Great. Okay, moving right along, Executive Director's Report. Larry?
All right, financial issues. Revenues are performing as expected. However, the sea lion problems kept us from accepting bookings for moorage, which is going to reduce our projected annual revenue significantly. Meanwhile, gazebo reservations are on a par with years past right now. Water system issues. As you know, our primary goal at this juncture is to get approval to use the grant money to acquire Jeff Carey's system, including the well and lots compromising sanitary area around it. Talk to Commerce, they're on board with this if Ecology approves. Still need to get final legislative approval for the change in the use of the grant. I've submitted all the required paperwork to Commerce. Representative Griffith said he will help move that forward if we need him to. As part of the process, Jeff will construct the booster pump system, which will feed the connections that are above the well elevation as well as our storage tank. This will happen prior to closing because Jeff isn't bound by prevailing wage requirements as we are and can do it a lot cheaper. Putting the booster pump on the same site as well makes great sense, and if we ever need to drill a second well, that site will also work for that with all the main engineering already done. We met with Ecology with our consultants, and they're analyzing the pump test data Jeff provided to make sure it complies with the terms of our water right. Once we know that it does, they will submit it to Ecology for final approval, and that will move the process forward. And Jeff will need to have a cultural resources survey completed on the property so we can move forward with the purchase and sale agreement. Our goal is to wrap this up by Labor Day, but it will all depend on the 3 state agency approval timelines. Also, if this goes into October, we could possibly reapply for the Department of Health consolidation loan for part of the purchase price and possibly use the rest of the grant and ARPA money for upgrades to the system. Allyn Pier Replacement Project. As you know, we were awarded $515,000 in the capital budget for this project. Our options are to replace the entire pier with a completely new structure, sleeve the existing pilings, which effectively gets the creosote out of the water, as well as stops the deterioration of the pilings, or drive new pilings, which we will need to do for the ones that are missing no matter what. Currently exploring the feasibility and useful life of all 3 options. In the meantime, we received a bid from the contractors to repair the North Shore dock of $651,327.63 to sleeve the pilings, which doesn't include driving new pilings for the ones that need to be replaced. That would be an additional $51,000 to replace the missing 4 pilings. I've received the specs they've used to bid this and have been working on developing a request for proposals to post on MRSC and see if anyone can beat that price and stay within our budget. Sleeving the pilings should fix the immediate problems and put off any rebuild for a number of years. However, just driving new pilings for everything will put that off for a lot longer and get the creosote out of the water as well. One option I am exploring with our lobbyist is finding federal funding for replacing the entire structure, which I expect to cost somewhere between $5 to $7 million. Our realistic chances of getting that much out of the state are pretty remote. So our lobbyist is setting up meetings with Representative Kilmer's staff, and I will talk to him when he is here for Allyn Days, so maybe we'll be able to get some kind of an idea if this is possible or not. The bottom line is we don't know enough to make decisions until then. And if we can't tap into federal funds for this, then we'll put an RFP out, see what happens, as we'll be required to solicit bids no matter what we decide anyway. Sea lion issue, as you are all well aware, we were invaded by sea lions on our dock. Met with representatives from Honduras as they wanted to see firsthand what the situation was. They sent a team out to inspect the damage, and we are getting bids on the repair work now, and hopefully we'll get underway shortly. We've been told there may be a supply chain issue where the pedestal are concerned, but have not been given any timeline for delivery as of yet. To prevent this from happening again, I had contacted a metal fabricating contractor to see if it's possible to construct a fence on the dock with gates for boaters. They submitted a bid of around $60,000, which I sent to all of you previously, and it's on the agenda tonight for discussion. But the truth is, that's way out of our budget for this. However, Commissioner Jackson and myself met with Barry Betzinger and Allyn Finley, who had done some additional research on this, wanted to discuss what they came up with. The consensus is that a permanent fence is probably not workable, but a lightweight removable one could be. They had some suggestions that could work. So I'm going to take them back to the fabricator and see if they can come up with something. I put this on tonight's agenda for discussion and a possible budget for such a project. Also, since we're going to have to replace all the power and water pedestals, there was a lot of talk at the WPPA spring meeting about electrically powered boats becoming quite common in the next few years. So I'm looking into the possibility of retrofitting our dock with pedestals that also include level 3 chargers for boats. I'm still researching this, and the main question is, do we need an additional power supply and electrical panel to supply just the chargers on the pedestals for the boats, or will the chargers also power the electrical outlets on the boats? If not, we do need to do additional power supply and panels. We'll need to find grant money for that. Excuse me. Security camera lawsuit. We were awarded a judgment of $5,000 in Kitsap County District Court on June 7th. Now we have to figure out how to collect them. One option is to garnish your bank account, which I'm looking into. Also, we're going to file a second claim for the balance of the money, approximately $2,300 this week. Security camera deployment. I'll be meeting with a new contractor on the 17th. We've been talking with them for several months on what's needed to redeploy the existing cameras we have and get them active once again. They laid out a number of options previously, and I want to move forward a step at a time as we have the funds to do so, and this is the first step in that process. Sidewalk issue. Sidewalk along the waterfront had developed cracks in several places, and it's sunken, leaving a gap between the surfaces. Our options were to demolish it and re-pour the sections where it had sunk, or to have the existing surfaces jacked up and realigned and the cracks patched with epoxy. That was the least expensive solution and the one I decided to move forward with. This was a ticking time bomb, and I'm happy to say the work is now complete. Kayak park. We'd received some communication there might be grants for electric vehicle charging station, and I followed up with Sarah Black on this. She sent me information on what she considered the best ones to apply for. This could be a good venue for this, as we have picnic tables and a restroom facility which could make it attractive for users. Plus, it could create a new revenue stream for the port. I've asked RCO if we could convert the park to this use, and they sent me some forms and an entire list of things we need to do to get permission for this. I followed up on the process and will submit the final package this week. I've also reached out to an automotive contact of mine who is with Electrify America, the largest EV charging station provider in the country, and he connected me to someone in their marketing department who sent me information on chargers as well as costs. I'm also trying to locate contacts at Blink Network and ChargePoint, the other main providers of charging infrastructure. But before we get too deep into the weeds with this, I want to make sure RCO will approve the use change first. Other issues. Someone has stolen one of the trail cameras at Sweetwater Park. I'm not sure if we should replace it or not, as we haven't seen anything but animal activity on the other two. Someone also tried to drill out the lock on the pay machine here in Allyn, which is stupid because there's no cash in any of the machines. Gonna get some signs made saying that, post them on the machines. Having the locks fixed, however, cost us over $200. Finally, the North Shore Launch Pay Machine, our very first one, was equipped with old cellular technology that Verizon stopped supporting last year. We didn't know that was going to happen, and the result is it didn't download any transactions for several months, but it did save them. We upgraded the equipment and downloaded all of them to the bank, so we didn't lose any money. Old business at Oyster House, our engineer's working on the plans for what we need to do to relocate the building, cantilever it over the water. This will require a change of scope for the grants, and I've already sent our grant manager the paperwork for this. Representative Griffith said he will help with this if we needed to run interfere with commerce. Sweetwater Park, the proposal to create a disc golf course on the Sweetwater Park property is on hold until Barry Fisher comes back with a solid proposal. He was scheduled to make a presentation at this meeting, but said the Disc Golf Association has asked him to hold off until they can review it. I've been adamant that we need to see a written plan for mitigating the danger trees as well as how they would manage the property. Salmon Center, which owns a portion of the proposed site, is also on board with doing this. Salmon Center's also hired a firm to do the majority of the remaining cleanup, but the work was postponed after Mr. Van Buskirk raised issues about Salmon Center needing some permits. Turns out the permits were not needed and the cleanup will be rescheduled. There will be another round after this one, which will be the final cleanup for anything that's left. Although no date has been set at this time, Mindy Harlow from Salmon Center is coordinating it. In the meantime, the entire property remains closed to the public and the trail cameras continue to be monitored. Kitsap All Ports meeting, the next one is set for July 31st at the Port of Brownsville. Will be the annual potluck. All of you are invited. That's my report.
Thank you,
Happy to
Larry.
answer any questions.
Yeah, I just have a couple of questions.
Sure.
So, how much are those trail cam cameras that got
They're
stolen?
a couple $100 each.
All right. And was there any footage on there that showed, like,
We-
stealing
we-
it?
No, all we saw on there were deer and a couple of foxes.
Do you have to, because I'm not uniquely familiar with trail, but you have to have that camera to look at what's in it, or is it transmitting?
It's got a removable
SD cards.
disc,
Okay,
and then we have a disc reader, and we can just plug the disc in.
but it's not sending a signal somewhere, so whatever's on there is gone.
No.
Okay. And then the other question I had is, was that the one on the far up side?
No, actually, it was the one closest to the road.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's
And if we
interesting.
could get a copy of it, if we could get the disc, we'd know who it was.
Yeah, maybe we need cameras to watch cameras.
Yeah, right.
All right, so, that answered that question. Oh, the kayak park, so, because you're a car guy, so you'll know how to answer this question, but, so, if we did do something like that, I mean, who would use that? The people in the neighborhood that wanna come down and charge it, or?
Well, I suspect Travis might.
People that would use that would be people traveling through.
Driving through?
Because they would have they'd have it in their car or on their app that tells them where charging stations are. That is a Electrify America, if that was the case, or a charge point or a blink system. And they would also be mapped into those individual apps for
Okay.
those companies. So like in my car, I can literally just go to the information screen and say, okay, I'm here, where's the nearest charging station? And it'll literally just blow up the map and tell me where all the
Sure.
charging stations are.
How long does it take when you, because I don't know anything about it, okay, so if you park and you're in a pinch and you need to get
Yeah,
somewhere?
so an Electrify America, for an example, will charge my car in 18 minutes from 10% to 8%.
Oh, okay.
It's not a long way.
How much did that cost you, roughly?
About $17 to $18.
Okay,
And that's if I, pay $4 a month to have membership.
okay, all right.
But using the other systems, they aren't as fast. Blink is a level 2 charger mostly.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't seen any Blink level 3 chargers.
And you're talking about level 3 here as far as.
Yes.
But ChargePoint has a level 3 system that
Okay.
does, I think, about 80 kilowatts.
Cool.
So that would charge you, in comparison to the Electrify America, in probably about 40 minutes.
Okay,
So,
well, thanks, Travis. And, Larry, what about the mechanics lien on that, monies? You know, 'cause you want a judgment eventually on that.
What I wanna do is, you know, he deposited the check we wrote. I wanna find out where he deposited it, and then try to garnish that bank account.
Okay, you mentioned that, okay,
I had done this a couple of times in my own business
Okay.
previously.
all right.
So,
That's all the questions I have. Thanks, Larry.
I have a
Okay.
question. How far is Jeff getting along on the cultural resource survey? Do you know?
Jeff isn't gonna do anything until we know if this is gonna work with
Okay.
ecology and everything. Because there's no point in him spending the money
Oh,
if,
absolutely.
you know,
Yeah, okay.
if it's not gonna get approved. But the actual work to do it probably take a day and a half. That's all they took to do this
Yeah.
entire park.
Yeah,
That's a good
It's just
question.
gonna be getting it scheduled.
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Okay, on to new business, proposal for rogue fabricators for the fence on the Allyn dock.
Okay.
And I have a copy of that here.
Yeah,
Everybody has their copy?
I've got a copy right here.
Okay. Yeah, but you had mentioned that Barry and,
Yeah, Barry and Alan Finley
Alan.
came with some other ideas, because the truth is, we can't afford what they've proposed there.
Right,
I mean, what they've proposed is fabulous, you know, and they do great work, but it's just out of our budget.
yeah,
What Alan and Barry came up with, and Ted and I met with them, was to maybe come up with some kind of portable fencing situation where Don could, you know, something lightweight that Don could put up and take down fairly quickly.
that's a great idea.
And I sent a note to Jared asking, the guy from Rogue Fabricators, asking him if they wanted to look at giving us a bid for something like that.
Okay,
you basically communicated to him that we
Oh,
appreciate
yeah, I
it,
told
but
him, I said,
it's out of
you know,
our league.
that you all were gonna discuss it, and I expected you would turn it down due to budget constraints.
Yeah,
Right.
totally. But, you know, I love, they're wanting to do it correctly and right, but they're still on board for communicating and trying to help you
Oh, yeah.
solve the problem.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, they're real good people to work with.
Where are they out of? It's out of Paulsville, okay.
So what I'd like is a motion to formally reject the proposal.
All right, well, I'll go ahead and make the motion due to, the cost to reject it.
And I'll second the motion.
okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Signify by saying aye. Aye, so moved. Okay,
And
then,
thank them for, as a commission very much, because
Yeah.
it takes time to put this together.
thank you for that. Okay, alternative methods of preventing future sea lion incursions.
And I think Ted.
So that's what you kinda said, was
Yeah,
anything
okay.
else?
Ted, Commissioner, Jackson, can you expound on like the portable idea that we were talking about down there?
That was,
Or is it early fresh still?
no, that was Barry and Alan's idea, and I personally, I didn't think about it until they brought it up, but I think that's a good idea that we have it up. When the sea lions have been predominantly here, you
Yeah.
know, for the 2 months, so I think that's the option we need to look at, so we don't have a permanent structure up there.
Yeah,
And.
it's a great idea.
And during those months when the sea lion are here, we're getting very little boat traffic as it is. It's
Yeah.
just a springtime month. So I would really like to look at other people, if Roe could come up with something that's in our budget. I mean, it's not gonna be cheap either way.
Right.
But, something that they could come up with that's a portable idea,
Okay.
something that's strong enough to prevent, you know, you got 800-pound, marine mammals jumping up on that thing. So, something that's gonna be strong enough, something that we can use, something that, is easy to take up and down. I mean, we're asking for the world, but,
Yeah.
we might as well ask for it and see what
Yeah.
comes out. So, I would like to see that. I'd like to see a temporary fencing and just keep on looking. I'll keep on researching as much as I can.
All right.
I did get one person in the community that does fabrications and, has a shop down here, and he was interested in just looking at it, and maybe him coming up with some ideas for us. Not
Yeah.
that he was gonna bid on it or anything,
Right.
but he was just curious to see what we could do, so.
Yeah, okay.
And the fact, yeah, it's amazing. It's such a simple but a good idea, because it's not like we have this problem every year or very often, right? And so to find something that we can take down and put up is remarkably good direction.
Yeah, I think portable's the way to go.
Yeah,
I
for
do
sure.
agree.
I would agree.
Something that's gonna be aesthetically pleasing and functional. Like I said, we're asking for a lot.
Yeah.
And I think we'd be the only port or only dock in the state that would be doing this.
Well,
I don't
I was
know.
gonna do this under good of the order, but, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday this week is the executive director seminar, and this will be talked about there,
Okay.
so.
Good, maybe we can get some other ideas.
Does anybody else have a problem like us? Okay.
Pretty much.
Uh,
Also, I've been asked to lead one of the discussion groups.
At the commissioner one?
Yeah,
Oh,
at
great.
the
Commissioner one?
director's
or
one.
The director one, okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of commissioner one, this would be kind of under the good of the order, but remember, we're having a Washington Public Courts Association commissioner, meeting down at Alderbrook this month. Are you guys gonna go?
I saw that. Isn't it on
No.
finance though, or that,
No,
or that was?
it's not on finance.
Okay.
One of the criteria, matter of fact, is predatory litigators.
Oh, really? Well, that's interesting.
And then, some of the topics, staying in your lane, commissioner and staff roles and responsibilities, take your legislator on tour.
What are you trying to tell us?
Well, it's important,
I
that
know.
you know,
I'm
it's
being
important.
facetious.
How to use your executive director review, right? As a tool, right?
Well, you know what's real funny is when I first got elected in Manchester, I got a call from James from WPPA.
Yeah.
When he was the director there.
Yeah,
He was saying, yeah, you're gonna go to the director's seminar, learn how to handle the commissioners, and then you're gonna go to the commissioner's seminar and learn how to handle the director.
right.
Oh, boy. They're gonna make you real
And
smart.
I will be going to the director's one. It's gonna be the first time Manchester has ever sent anybody.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
really? Where's that gonna be? Where's it gonna be?
The same, or
Where?
the commissioner one, the same one you're going to.
Oh, yes, okay, I thought you meant the executive
Right.
director
When-
one.
The
when is it?
executive director one is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday this week in
Okay.
Everett.
Okay, that
And
was
then-
one I was asking,
Yeah,
but we're,
and then
okay.
the commissioner one is same with you guys.
Well, it's just 2 days, and of course, they've shut down Highway 106, so,
You
you know.
just have
Oh, I've got
All
it
the
written
way
down.
around.
It's the first part of last week, right, of this month.
Yeah, it's the last week, yep.
All in, but,
Monday, July 24th through Wednesday the 26th.
yeah, sounds like that's something that would be helpful to the commission.
For some reason, I thought it was next week.
No,
I just looked it up, yeah.
24th to 26th
Yeah.
of this month. Okay, I'll follow up on that because I'm interested in trying to learn how to deal with some of the challenges we have.
Sure.
That goes without
And I
saying.
will tell you, all the Brooks already booked completely out.
Yeah.
There what?
They're
You
completely
can't
booked
stay
out.
overnight there,
Oh.
we're booked.
Well, I'm 10 minutes from there.
Saves our folks some money.
That'd be a waste
I'll
of
be
money
driving.
anyway.
Yeah, when you can drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also Allyn Days is the 14th, or
This
14th,
weekend.
15th, yeah. I plan on coming at least Saturday or part of Saturday. Is that gonna help? Are you guys gonna try to go?
I will be here on Sunday. I won't be here on Saturday for
Okay.
the first time in 20-something years.
Well,
People are gonna starve to death.
Ted's cooking
Uh,
oysters.
I got the
I got the
backup,
muscles.
backup Jackson crew, so I'll be cooking along with some other folks, oysters on Sunday.
Sunday,
Sunday, okay.
great.
Yeah, I talked to Jason today and let him know that we don't have sunshine here anymore, so they're gonna have to send me a couple volunteers to help me cook the mussels.
Oh, so you're gonna
Yeah.
do that
Yeah,
again?
yeah.
What day is that?
Sunday,
Oh, okay.
I may
Not
have
sure
a
if I
couple
can do that.
people
yeah.
for Sunday. I've reached out, so.
I'm gonna play it by ear, I don't know. I'd
Okay.
like to make a show.
All right,
Yeah, it's a great meet and greet
I know,
with people.
yeah.
It's supporting what's going on there and all their efforts.
Okay, anything else for the good of the order? Barry, yes.
Barry Betzinger, Allyn, and I'm not pushing the fencing anymore, but I just had a couple of thoughts. You know, if we decide to use the 4x6s there as supports for the fence, there's hardly any room at all for a sea lion to get any grip as they try and come up on the, you know, on the float. And I see, you know, what we see is that the sea lions will look around and they'll see if there's anything up on the floater or room for them to get on before they actually, you know, come up. So, you know, we could even tie some little, you know, plastic strings to the fence and things like that, so they move at least when the wind's blowing, but something funky. But anyway, just a comment I thought about, because what if they get a head going and they can get up there, they're heavy, heavy duty.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Barry.
you. Anything else?
No, Leanne, I will let you know about Alderbrook,
Yeah, okay.
but I will not be able to go to the small ports in Leavenworth, so.
Oh,
I'll send
and
you-
it's not in Leavenworth this year, it's at, Lake
Chelan.
Chelan.
Oh, okay, I won't be, those dates conflict, so.
Okay. Okay, anything else?
No.
Should we adjourn?
Yeah, I'll make a motion, we adjourn. Unless
Okay.
there's further discussion.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, folks. Here.